and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a hot minute. I've been gone for like a month and I've been neglecting most of my social medias but TikTok, and I do apologize. Just haven't been in the best mental state, as it's just been a lot of coronavirus cases where I'm at, a lot of staying at home, a lot of rain, a lot of seeing, unfortunately, there's just a lot of people struggling to survive, and I try to help where I can, but I know that I can't help everyone, and that bothers me, and it just put me in a bad space. So that's where we're at there. So I apologize. Let's jump into the actual subject of the video, which is Donald Trump's tax returns, which we finally got via the New York Times. Boom. I'm kind of loving all the revelations that are coming out about Donald Trump. I am currently going through Michael Cohen's book, which I will review later. And then we have Fear. Was it Fear? No, Fear was the first one, right? Rage is this one. Rage. Well, I'm feeling that rage, but that's that one. We'll go through those two books too. But right now, just want to focus on Donald Trump's tax returns. Okay, so the New York Times, I'm sitting in a restaurant, and my husband's like, the New York Times just released information on Donald Trump's tax returns. I'm like, what? Yay, we finally get to know what the frack is going on. Is he hiding from the Russians? Does he owe a lot of money? Is he committing tax fraud? What's Donald Trump trying to hide? Because we all know a man who's trying to hide his taxes to the degree that he is trying to hide his taxes, he's doing something. And now we know. So let's break it down into some sections and let's talk about it. First off, I want to talk about the fact that he has only paid taxes 11 out of the he hasn't paid taxes 11 out of the 18 years that they had for tax returns. 11 out of 18. That is over half that he paid freaking zero in taxes. Then when he entered the White House, the first year he entered the White House and the second year he was in the White House, because we don't have tax returns for now, we don't have those tax returns for the last 2 years. We have 2017 and 2018. We don't have, obviously this year or the year before. And in 2017 and in 2018, while serving in the White House, he paid a little over $700 in taxes. That, to me, a billionaire paying less than a minimum wage worker in taxes pisses me off to no end. We sit there and we talk about how we don't want to have to pay for people that are on welfare and food stamps and your tax dollars. Well, I got news for you. You're not paying for that. You pay like 38 cents every couple of weeks for that. No, you are paying for people like Donald Trump to write off their homes, to write off their planes, to write off $70,000 in makeup and hair, to pay consulting fees to your daughter, who also happens to be an employee, so that you can hide giving her a gift. It's a tax write-off, and you're giving your daughter money under a certain way, so she does not have to pay the gift tax. Or, well, you don't have to pay the gift tax. She has to pay a tax, but you don't. But I'm sure Ivanka got around it somehow, because, father like daughter, cannot stand her. Not only did he do that, which some of that is very much illegal, he can actually, for the years of The Apprentice and stuff, he can actually write off hair and makeup. I could technically, as I do consider this my business, even though I get paid like 30 cents, I could technically write off the makeup and the clothes and like the jewelry that I buy to wear on this channel. You can do that. You can. So that doesn't tick me off. It's annoying that he's living a lavish lifestyle on my tax dollars, because he got a $79 million tax refund by pulling this crap. He also committed fraud in a couple of places. When he went bankrupt on his casinos, he tried to write that off. If you have any stake and can still make money from that venture, you are not supposed to write it off. He owns a percentage of the new casino or whatever is going on there. And so he shouldn't have written that off. He should not be allowed to write that off. He consistently, according to Michael Cohen, tax documents and possibly his loan documents show that he would, when it came to paying taxes, he would do everything he could to undervalue his property so that it would be less than, but then he would go to places like Deutsche Bank and overinflate his property, and that is considered A, tax fraud, B, that's just fraud. It's two different sets of frauds and two different crimes. So that's going to have to be looked at by the Southern District of New York, because I'm pretty sure that's why they're actually looking at his tax returns. Now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense. So now let's jump on to the next part. Donald Trump is broke. Like, owes way more money than he has coming in. Kind of broke. What all of us have known for quite some time, his Washington D.C. hotel is underwater. Mar-a-Lago is not underwater, and we'll talk about that in the corruption piece I'm going to do in the very last part of this video. Mar-a-Lago is not underwater, but Durrell is underwater. His Scotland, Ireland properties are underwater. Donald Trump just is not a good real estate investor. He's the two properties that make him the only two properties that he owns right now that are not underwater and that are making him any amount of money is Trump Tower in New York. And basically all you have to do is not burn down a building in New York and it will continue to appreciate in value because it's freaking New York City and it's Manhattan and that's some prime real estate right there. But then it's Mar-a-Lago, which, like I said, we'll get into why Mar-a-Lago is still making him about tons of money, but it is making him about tons of money. The Apprentice made him money, made him like $400 million kind of money. And then he has a stake in a building he used to own when he went bankrupt and had to hand it over. He still managed to keep some stake in it like he did the casino. And that makes him money. It's not being managed by him. He's just collecting from it, which is fine, actually. Real estate investment's a good idea. That's fine. Earn your money that way, boo. Do you, boo. Do your $400 million. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most of the debt he is in now is from personal loans. Apparently he did not learn from his mistakes in the 80s. And he has so much debt and so many loans that are coming due in the next 2 to 4 years. And we do not know who owns those loans. We are talking about over $400 million in loans. And we don't know if it is what bank has it, what country loaned him money, who's funneling money into him. Deutsche Bank is super suspicious, and there's a lot of hanky stuff going on there that I'm still looking into, but we're going to have to do a video on Deutsche Bank and Donald Trump at some point because there's a whole lot of hanky-panky going on there that I just don't understand. Then we have the fact that we don't know who he owes money to, and we don't know when it's going to go. And those bills can very well come due if he gets reelected while he's president. And nobody in their right mind is going to try and take the president of the United States to court to foreclose on his properties. So it's Trump's way of buying himself extra time while building his brand, while he tries to figure out some plan to get more money, which literally means he's going to be staying more at his hotels and sending military to his hotels. We'll get into that in a minute. So that's terrifying. The president of the United States could very, very easily be compromised to a foreign government for hundreds of millions of dollars. Let that sink in. Now let's talk about Mar-a-Lago, the money he has coming in from licensing deals from other countries, and how corrupt this president really is. Okay, why is Mar-a-Lago not under money? Because shortly after Donald Trump won his presidency, he basically doubled the fee to enter Mar-a-Lago. And when he did that, you were basically paying for access to the president. I mean, he was holding classified meetings at the beginning of his presidency at the freaking dining room table. He randomly comes down and talks to people. So if you have a lot of money and you want to push something through, what do? You go to Trump's winter White House, pay the $200,000 fee that is every year, and you basically have access to the president. But not only is he making money that way, he's making money through golf cart rentals. He's making money from the food the Secret Service has to buy, for the rooms that they have to pay for to stay there, for his staff, and everyone connected to him. Because the president doesn't just travel alone. He travels with an entire entourage that has to be housed. And where do you think they're housed? Mar-a-Lago. Is he charging operating costs? Kind of, but he's basically tripled his operating costs in several of his hotels where people are staying. So, yeah, he is milking us for all we can worth while not paying any freaking taxes. All right. And then we have the foreign entities and the GOP and other places, and Jerry Falwell, who are using his properties to gain favor. Like Jerry Falwell spent $100,000 a night to rent out one of Trump's hotels for 3 days. Then you have Saudi Arabia, who has booked out hotels there and not stayed there. They've just given Trump money in his hotels. You have the licensing deals from overseas, from places like the Philippines, where Trump has shown them favor, like Turkey, right before we, just handed over Syria to Turkey and just let them massacre people. Yeah, that's right. Trump massacred a bunch of people for a fucking licensing deal. The corruption in this is freaking undeniable. It is nauseatingly unfreaking deniable and frustrating. So frustrating. So to sum it up, Trump pays zero in taxes. When he does pay taxes, we still pay more taxes than he does. He is way underwater with money. Like, he owes way more than what he's bringing in. His most lucrative projects were Mar-a-Lago. Because he's the president, it wasn't lucrative before. Trump Tower, because, well, short of burning the building down, it's gonna make you money. A building he doesn't actually own and operate, that he just takes a percentage of, and The Apprentice. That's where Trump is making most of his money. And The Apprentice is drying up, which is why he ran in 2016 for president. The rest of his money is coming in through corruption, dictatorship style. Alright, guys, that's basically what I learned from reading about Donald Trump's tax returns, and I will see y'all later.